Hey everyone, it's Dave here at bluebearsgames, and welcome back to another episode of Blues Budget Battle Brews. This week's deck, I'm calling it Life After Death. The strategy here is it is a token swarm aggro style deck, okay? Basically what it does is it utilizes all of your dudes, and I'm going to call them dudes because it's easier to say than creatures, all your dudes as sacrificial lambs, so that you can create a horde of little flyers to eventually just swarm your opponent with a lot of them or whittle them down with 1/1s, whichever way that the game goes. So, with that being said, let me go ahead and go over the deck, and I will show you what I included. Alright, let me fix the camera a little bit. There we go. Alright, so we start with a Doomed Traveler. So, you see the premise right just from the get-go. It's a 1/1 that when it dies, you create a 1/1 spirit token creature with flying. So create a 1/1 flyer. That's the theme of the deck pretty much. Orzhov Enforcer has Afterlife. Afterlife says when this creature dies, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. Essentially the same thing as Doomed Traveler, only it has an ability name. This also just happens to have Death Touch, so you're going to want to attack in with this guy because people don't really like to block Death Touchers. Lampad of Death Vigil. So, you saw the theme. We're going to have a lot of things die and create another token, or create a token or another creature. He is in here so that you can sacrifice it and each opponent will lose a life and you gain a life, so you can sacrifice the guy that has Afterlife to create the tokens that are created with Afterlife. So it's a somewhat aristocrat style deck. That's the other way you're going to win with this kind of deck, is you can add more of that in here with other creatures that do the same thing, or you can go for a full token swarm. Let me continue. Imperious Oligarch. It's 2-cast 2/1 Vigilance and has Afterlife 1, so when it dies it creates 1/1 flyer. Got a play set of those. Ministries of Obligation. It's a 3-cast 2/1 Afterlife of 2, so when he dies, or it dies really, it creates 2 1/1s, so more tokens. Pious Evangel. Here's where aristocrats come in. So when Pious Evangel or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life, and then you can pay 2 tap and sacrifice another permanent, most likely something that will create a 1/1 flyer. And then you turn him over, and now whenever he turns into Wayward Disciple, and whenever Wayward Disciple or another creature you control dies, target opponent loses life and you gain a life. Aristocrats. That's what this deck does as well. So you can go 2 ways: Token Swarm, Aristocrats. First rare, Hanged Executioner. 30-cast 1/1 flyer, but when it enters the battlefield, it creates a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So as you can see, everything in here is to create little 1/1 flyer and tokens. You can also exile Hanged Executioner to exile another target creature. That could be important defensively. Syndicate Messenger, 4-cast 2/3 flyer that has Afterlife of 1, so when it dies, you can create a 1/1. Seraph of the Scales is the wild card for this deck, meaning it was the either mythic, full rare, or extra rare. It's 4-cast for a 4/3 flyer, so right off the bat the stats are great. It's a 4-cast 4/3 flyer. That's obviously why it's mythic. For a white, you can have it gain Vigilance. For a black, it gains Death Touch, and then it has Afterlife of 2, so if it dies or when it dies, create 2 1/1 flyers. Orzhov Racketeers, 5-cast for a 3/2. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. That's not really that relevant for this deck. It's the Afterlife of 2 that matters, so it creates 2 1/1s. Geist Honored Monk, another one of the ones that when it comes into play, it creates them instead of when it dies. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. It has Vigilance, and then when it enters the battlefield, you put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. Plain and simple. Knight of the Last Breath. It's a 7 to cast. I know it's a lot. Some of these games are going to go long just because you're doing nothing but pinging for one with 1/1s or clogging the board up with 1/1s. So it's 7 to cast. It's a 4/4. Its ability is for 3. You can sacrifice another non-token creature to create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. And then when it dies, or if it dies, it'll create 3 more just because it has Afterlife 3. Reeve Soul, a little bit of board control, so you can get rid of some of your opponent's creatures. Angelic Purge takes advantage of you wanting to be able to sacrifice something so that you can create the flyer. And then its benefit is when you sacrifice, you have to sacrifice it as an additional cost. Then you get to exile another target artifact, creature, enchantment, and it doesn't have to be yours. Shouldn't be yours. Final payment. So as an additional cast to cost this spell, you either pay 5 life or sacrifice a creature or an enchantment, and then you can destroy a creature. It's a pretty cheap cost here. It helps you sacrifice one of your dudes to make a 1/1 flyer, and it destroys another creature, and it's not going to be yours. So there's 4 of them in there. Slayer's Plate. It's the only... I don't add equipment into decks often. I'm not really a fan of them, but this one fit. It's also the final rare in the deck. Equipped creature gets +4/+2, so that's kind of helpful, especially with all those flyers. Whenever a equipped creature dies, if it was a human, you put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. And as you can see, human soldier, human soldier, human soldier, human rogue. Not the nymph. The oligarch is a human cleric. The ministrant of obligation. So basically what I'm telling you is that minus a few exceptions, almost everything in here is a human. So it also creates a 1/1. That's what you're trying to do. As far as the lands, it's a dual colored land. As I always do, I put 2 Evolving Wilds in there for mana fixing, so in case you don't have the right color out at the right time, you can go get one. I told you last week I recently changed over from the gates for some of these decks to the ones that come into play, tap, but they give you a life to help you so you can maintain your life, because that's a resource in every game, your life total. Remember, this is the most important thing you have to learn. Even if you only win with 1 life, you still won. So just remember that. And then of course a mix of swamps and plains. So that is the base build for life after death that I named because, well, it got afterlife, so life and death. A couple of upgrade options, and there's not a lot to go there because this was based off of the afterlife theme, and there weren't a lot of things that did this. But here's a couple. I mean, first things first, I would add at least 1 more Geist Honored Monk and at least 1 more Hanged Executioner for more token generation, just to get some more tokens out there. I would add, add at least 2, if not more, aristocrat-style dudes for just a little bit more consistency, so you don't have to always rely on being able to attack. So a couple examples of that would be a Blood Artist or a Zolaport Cutthroat. They're, what I have in here for the monetary, budget that I had to stay within. They're not the greatest aristocrats, so these are the cream of the crop, the Blood Artist and the Zolaport Cutthroats, some of the better ones, but they're also pricey. I would replace the Orzhov Racketeers with more Seraph of the Scales. Just remember they're mythics though, and that's the reason why I would do that replacement, is because while they're mythics, there's a reason why they're mythic. They're extremely undercosted for what they do, and they fit the theme of this deck very well. I would trade the Reeve Souls out for some Fatal Pushes if possible, and again, monetary budget reasons push them out of this deck because I think they're over $1 or $2 a piece for a Fatal Push. And lastly, obviously, the land base I would change out. Godless Shrine and Isolated Chapel so that you can have a more consistent mana base. It would help it so that you don't have things that come into play tapped. You can actually just play your things as you go. Specifically, like a Doom Traveler, you want to be able to play turn 1. And you don't want, if in your opening hand, I mean, it could, because you have things that you can do, but you don't want it to come into play tapped if you want to play Doom Traveler first. So those are just, a couple of the options that, I would do to upgrade the deck a little bit. It's not all I would do, but it's just a couple. I can't really go over everything because everybody's got a different theory on how to play. So, thank you for taking the time to watch and learn about this little brew. I kind of like this. This is one of my more original ones. Please remember to show your support for the channel and to me by liking this video. It's really important that you really like this video. It helps with my analytics. Subscribing to the channel if you have not done so yet. What are you waiting for? It doesn't cost you anything. I only post maybe once or twice a week, so it's not going to flood your feed. So just do it. There's no reason not to. And sharing this out so people who don't know about me get a chance to learn about me. I'm trying my best to give everybody what they want, and I know that you can't please everybody all the time. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to appease as many people as possible. It's not going to happen for everybody. If I'm not your cup of tea, oh well, fuck you. I don't care. But I might be somebody's cup of tea that may want to sit here and watch somebody make decks that are more original and for fun rather than for competition. So, share it out. You got Facebook, Twitter. I don't know if you can do it on Instagram. I don't know nothing about Instagram. I don't know TikTok. I don't care. Whatever the hell you got, share it out there so other people can enjoy it. Now, I want to talk about purchasing. I have to go over this because my ability to sell on Facebook has been hindered greatly, and I'm trying to get through that. Something with their ability to check on my information so I'm allowed to ship nationwide has been taken away. It's severely affecting my ability to purchase new product to make new decks. So I have to do it through here for now. The deck is $20. All the budget Battle Brew decks are $20. I've got the Commander decks that are $40, and they're actually not that bad. I'm actually going to do Torbran soon. It's my newest one, and then I've got a blue-white deck over there for Commander that I'm going to do. But $20. Free shipping if you buy more than one of the Battle Brew decks. It's not that much. The decks are worth it. I actually believe there's more value in these than what I'm charging. But the point of this is I'm not making any money on these. What I'm trying to do is take the money to buy more products so I can make more decks to have other people learn how to play the game and make more decks for other people. So that is how I like to do this. This is not all about a money-making scheme. This is more about spreading the love of this game that I have and showing people that there are ways on a budget to actually do something in this game without having to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars, because that's the biggest complaint a lot of people have. All this reserve list talk. Let's get rid of that. Let's show people that you can win otherwise. So, anyway, if you want to purchase it, there's multiple ways you can contact me. Most easiest, since I have a store on Facebook, my store has the listings, but the only way you can purchase is if you actually message me. But bluebearsgames on Facebook. If you don't want to do it that way, you can email me, bluebearsgames@gmail.com, or you can put a message in the comment section of this video below. So, anyway, that's my time for the week. I want to thank you again for watching. I want to remind you again to like, subscribe, and share. If you have any comments, questions, or even suggestions, please feel free to, use the Facebook page to talk to me. I have a fan who actually talks to me almost daily now. So shout out to him, Joe. Thank you for, sticking by even though I'm busy and I haven't been able to talk to you for a little bit. Anyway, you can contact me that way if you have any suggestions or anything you want to talk about. Either way, enjoy your week, stay safe, and I will see you guys all next week.